Hi, my name is Katie, and I am a reference librarian at the Worcester branch of the Wayne County Public Library. And one thing you might not know about me is that I love reading historical fiction. I probably read it more than anything else, and I do this because I think historical fiction exposes us readers to the inner lives of people across place and time, and in doing so illuminates history's untold stories. So today I thought I would review three of some historical fiction books that I read recently that I really enjoyed. My first pick for today is The Tattooist of Auschwitz. This is by Heather Morris, and it is based on a true story, and I think that makes it all the more impactful and moving. So the story centers around Lale Sokolov, and in 1942 he was sent from Slovakia, where he's from, to Auschwitz-Birkenau. Now, he's blessed to be able to speak many different languages, and when the Germans find out that he's able to understand just about everybody that they're bringing into the camp, they make him one of the tattooists. And now he doesn't want to do this job, but he's kind of, forced to. And he realizes that those tattooists are given additional privileges like medication, he gets extra food. And so Lale decides, well, if I have to do this job, I'm going to use those privileges to help others in the camp. Now, a few months after arriving, Lale meets Gita, and when she comes to him to get tattooed, obviously she doesn't want to be there. But Lale, he knows immediately he needs to survive because he wants to marry Gita. And, of course, Gita thinks he's a little wild because they've literally just met, and she's very reluctant to find love in such a bleak place, but it blossoms all the same. And the novel really shows what everyday life was like for prisoners in Auschwitz. Obviously some days are filled with violence, but some days are mundane, and I could not put this book down. I very much enjoyed how Morris was able to capture that triumph of the human spirit and how love will prevail even in the bleakest of times. And since this is based on the real Lale and the real Gita, you can actually view photographs of them. So spoilers, they survive. You can see the real Lale and Gita in the book as well. So I just really enjoyed The Tattooist of Auschwitz. My next book takes us to 1930s Appalachia. It is The Book Woman of Troublesome Creek. This is by Kim Michelle Richardson. And the novel focuses on Cussie Carter. She's 19. She's from Troublesome Creek, Kentucky. And she joins the Historical Pack Horse Library Project of Kentucky. And so she's a librarian, and you might now see why I really liked this book. I might be a little biased. So Cussie is one of the last living, to her knowledge at least, blue people. And this is a real, condition. There were people, especially well known in Appalachia, for having an oxygen deficiency in their red blood cells, which caused their skin to appear blue. So she has, pale blue skin. And, this is a story of courage and resilience, since not everyone is too keen on Cussie, who they they call her Bluette. They're also not too keen on her family. There's a lot of apprehension because they don't know why their skin is blue. But her involvement in the library program and her determination to bring literacy and books to her fellow Kentuckians is something to be admired, and I really loved learning all about Cussie. My third book is Refugee. This is by Alan Gratz, and it is technically a young adult novel, and I am going to warn you, this made me cry. But I really believe that adults could and would really enjoy this book as well, even if it's a teen title. So it's actually 3 stories rolled into the one, all of which have that theme of escape. And I just thought this was fabulous. The first story within this is about Joseph. He's a Jewish boy in 1930s Nazi Germany, and his family recognizes the threat of the Nazis and the potential for having to go to a concentration camp. So they actually are able to secure passage on a boat that's heading to the United States. However, there's a question as they cross the Atlantic about, will the boat arrive? And if it does, will they be allowed in? And on top of that, Joseph really feels like he needs to protect his sister Ruthie, who is younger than him. He's a very good big brother. And so you kind of follow how he plans on making sure that Ruthie is okay. After Joseph, we meet Isabel. Isabel's a Cuban girl in 1994, and her family needs to get away from Castro's rule because there is a fear that her father, who's been part of a political movement opposing Castro, he might be arrested any day now. There are riots and unrest plaguing her country. So with the help of another family, they build a boat, and by boat, it's kind of more like a raft. And they start a perilous journey to the United States. And this journey is all the more complicated by the fact that Isabel's mom is pregnant. And so I really liked Isabel's story. The final story in here is a little more recent. It's with Mahmoud. He is a Syrian boy. This part takes place in 2015. And his hometown of Aleppo is being torn apart with violence. And his family's apartment actually gets bombed. So after that happens, the family packs up the car with what they have left, and their goal is to drive as far as they can and then walk the rest of the way to get to Austria is their end point. And from Austria, they're hoping to be able to come to the United States or Canada. Like I said, all three kind of end up connecting in the end. So it's not three completely different stories. They do kind of come together. In all three cases, loved ones are lost, but eventually the families do arrive in safer places. And, I just thought this was wonderful. So if you also love historical fiction like I do, leave a comment on our social media or here on YouTube and let me know what else I should be reading. Well, thank you for joining me for our book reviews, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.